understand what is mental health. Let's understand what is mental health. It is basically peace within oneself and harmony with others. Adjustment with self, others, and the environment. So most of us have good mental health because we have good coping skills. We can manage well with people, well with the society, well with the work or study environment, and we are in harmony with others. So WHO, the World Health Organization, defines mental health as the capacity in an individual to form harmonious relationship with others and to participate in or coordinate constructively to the changes in the social environment. That is what WHO defines mental health as. Now, let me give you why that mention for leg fracture versus depression is there. Let's say I am supposed to give a presentation, come to the Avinash group of colleges, one of them, and in the morning, I slip in the bathroom. I have my leg fractured. I go to a doctor, they take an X-ray, they put the plaster, and they advise me 6 weeks of bed rest. I call the chairman, sir, and tell him about my non-availability because of fracture. And he, being a very empathetic person, would tell me, yeah, Mr. Tapadia, I understand. Please take care of yourself, rest well. And if you need anything, let us know. We'll be happy to help. That is one scenario. People understand when you have a physical problem. When you say you're diabetic, they understand. When they see your fractured leg, they understand. But what if I tell the chairman, sir, you know what? I woke up this morning and I'm feeling depressed, or I just don't feel like getting up and doing anything. And I'm sorry, I will not be able to come for that 11 o'clock session to your campus. And if a person is not aware about mental health, he would start questioning himself. What is wrong with Tapadia? I mean, he seems to have a good family. He seems to have a good work. He seems to be having a house to live in. Everything looks good. So how can he be sad? How can he be depressed? Because most of us don't understand that if I can fall sick and be physically incapacitated, my mind is like any other body part. I can fall mentally ill. I can feel low. I can feel anxious. I can feel stressed. I can feel depressed. Some which could be the situations which I'm going through, and some which could also be hereditary. So we are not aware about how to identify people who have a mental illness. And if somebody says, look, I am mental... If somebody says, I am mentally sick, we start becoming very judgmental. We call them mad. There is a lot of stigma associated with mental illness. And what I would like as one of the takeaways from this talk is okay to be mentally ill, is okay to seek help, is okay for someone you know to not feel anxious or low. Give all the support you can, be kind to them, and spread the awareness of how we can avoid the mental stigma. So some of the quotes are, We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. Having a positive mental attitude is asking how something can be done rather than saying it can't be done. It is better to be an optimist who is sometimes wrong than a pessimist who is always correct. Someone asked me, who hurt you? I replied, my own expectations. Okay. Yeah. Now let's look at this important triad. Now this is something we go through all the time. We have this IQ where we start thinking. Then we have the heart where we talk about our emotions, our emotional quotient, the feelings. And then we have the behavior or the action. So when an event occurs in your life, maybe some external event which is triggered, the thoughts in your mind, based on your belief system, based on your attitude, based on the past mental images, based on the opinions which you form, you address that event in a particular way. Now, when that event results in some negative thoughts, you end up having negative feelings. And these feelings relate to the emotions and the physical sensations which could happen in your body. Your feeling of anger. And as a result of that negative thought and the negative feeling, what triggers is your negative behavior, or what we say, negative action. So everything starts from your thought, feeling, that IQ and the EQ, which is the emotional quotient, and the feelings and the thoughts which, when are negative, results in behavior which is negative. So every time you get a thought which is negative, you need to see what is it which is causing that feeling in me. Many a times it is based on your belief system. So now let's see an example of a dog. There's a dog on the street, and we have one group of people who don't like dogs or who were bitten by a dog in the past. So what, based on their beliefs, past experiences, when they see a dog, the first thought which comes to their mind is the dog is going to bite me. As a result of that thought, the feeling they have is they are scared, they are fearful, they are very uncomfortable. And as a result of that feeling, what their basic action would be is to run away. And you know what happens when you run. The dog will run after you. And at some point of time, you either reach your destination or you can get into some other kind of an accident because you're running, or the dog can also chase you. Now, this is one scenario when you have a negative feeling. But when you have a positive feeling, let's see what happens when you see a dog on the street. When you see a dog on the street, because of your past experience, because of your belief system, because of your attitude, because of your views, the thought which comes in your mind is, wow, wonderful. I love pets. Oh, I'm going to have a good time, catching up with this dog. So you have feelings of happiness, feelings of joy. And what is your behavior? You would go towards the dog, pet that animal. The dog would jump onto you, it'll start licking you. And you have a very wonderful experience when you see that dog. And as a result of that wonderful experience, the rest of the day would also be pretty good because you started your day with a very joyful feeling. Now, the dog is on the street is an event or an incident. But two sets of people, because of their perceptions, because of their beliefs, because of their attitudes, because of their past experiences, have a totally different experience. One which could be negative and the other which is positive. So it is important that when we experience an incident in our life, how do we look at it? And the way we look at it is based on our perception, which is based on our past incidents, our beliefs, our attitudes, our mental images. So when you develop a more positive mental image, then the way you look at things would obviously be different than what if you have a very negative image of life in general. Okay. So let's move on. So when I was talking about the feelings or the thoughts, I was basically talking about how we can curb negative thoughts, negative feelings, which is not letting you live in the present moment. Okay. Now, look at some of the things here. He is angry with me. He's seeing someone else. Something terrible has happened. When he says he doesn't love me, all of these are negative thoughts. And as a result of these negative thoughts, your emotions your feelings are feelings of sadness, depression, anxiety, feeling helpless, feeling angry, and so on. And as a result of that, your behavior or action would also be not very pleasant. You basically go to bed in despair, throw things, you're angry, you're restless, so on. Now, for a moment, look at this negative thought. He never calls me when he says he will. Could it be, can you change your perception and think for a moment? He has not called me. Maybe the phone battery is discharged, or he's in a meeting and he cannot leave that, or he forgot about it. So if you change your perception, that negative thought which you had that he never calls when he says he will, changes to one more of compassion, more of understanding, and more of trust. Okay. So it's important that when we get a thought, spend time understanding if that thought is helpful or hurtful. If the thought is helpful, the feelings would be more of kindness and the behavior would be more pleasant. But if the thought is hurtful, the feelings would be, not great or comfortable feelings, and the action would appropriately not be advisable. Now let's look at this. Very interesting. You have a kettle and a cup. Somebody is pouring some coffee or whatever, and you can only pour so much which the cup can hold. Well, if you try to pour more, obviously it is going to spill. Similarly, when you have numerous events which take place in your life, those incidents create feelings, and these feelings create emotional pressure. So it's like your mind is all clouded with those feelings or emotional pressure. So when the person is inside a cloud with all those feelings around him are hurt, they cannot see beyond themselves. So what do they need to do? They need to talk to someone. When they talk to someone, it reduces that emotional pressure. Their loss of cognitive ability becomes better. When you share and ventilate, the emotional discomfort which that person is going through is reduced. And when that emotional discomfort is reduced, there is an improved thinking and improved problem-solving ability. So whenever you find yourself in a stressful situation with a lot of emotions getting triggered, which are negative, it is important you talk and share with someone. I repeat, it's important you talk and share with someone. When you share, you ventilate. When you ventilate, catharsis happens and you feel so much better. I'm sure many of you, as part of your experiences, would have done this often. You shared with close friends, you shared with an unknown person like a volunteer at SEVA, you shared with some uncles and aunt who you think you can trust. So whenever you have any kind of emotional discomfort, you need to basically share. Sharing helps you ventilate. Ventilation helps you reduce that emotional discomfort, helps you get back your cognitive ability, helps you think better, helps you solve problems better, so on. Okay. Like, yeah. When the problem seems high, the coping skills are low. This is like a seesaw. Every time there's all of us have problems in life. Let's be very honest about it. Some are small, some may be large. Many of us have good coping skills, and as a result of it, we are able to address the problem better. Some of us don't have good coping skills, so we start worrying about it, build that emotional pressure, and that is when you need to share to ventilate. So if the problem is small, coping is faster. If the problem is serious, then the coping skills drop. Now, this is like a seesaw. Now, you turn the seesaw to the other end. It looks like the problem looks small because it goes down the left side. And because the coping skills are higher, the problem appears smaller. So if you have good coping skills, the problems which you experience, you're able to solve better. If you have low coping skills, every problem or every incident which happens in your life appears like a big problem, and that is where challenges crop up. Now, I was talking about give a name to your feelings, and this is that feelings wheel, where we have 7 broad categories of feelings. You can feel happy, fearful, angry, sad, surprised, and so on. Now, corresponding to each, there is a different level of intensity. You can feel happy, you can feel peaceful, you can feel happy, you can feel playful, you can feel sad, you can feel lonely or depressed, you can feel angry, you can be mad, or you can be humiliated. So when you have this feelings wheel with you, what it helps you with is every time you experience some kind of life situation which is thrown at you, you have your IQ, the emotions, identify what kind of emotions are you going through. Is this incident making me angry? Is this incident making me sad? Or is this incident making me feel hurt? Is this incident making me feel humiliated? Give a name to what you're feeling. Because when you are able to give a name, which is the emotional terminology to your feelings, you will understand what kind of feelings are we going through and what is the intensity of that feeling we are going through. Okay. Now, self-esteem. Now, what does self-esteem mean and why are we discussing this? Many of the problems you face in your teenage years, in your growing up years, in your work, at work, in your relationships, in your parenting, is basically based on how your self-esteem was during your growing up years. Was it healthy or was it low? So when you say self-esteem, it is different from self-confidence. I might be very confident in public speaking, but my confidence levels are low when it comes to swimming because I fear water. Can all of you be on mute, please? Yeah. So self-esteem relates to how do you feel about yourself and the feeling that you're worthy of the respect of others. Now, a lot of people, we are not talking about healthy self-esteem because that's good. So there's nothing to discuss. But what we are looking at is low self-esteem. Why does a person have low self-esteem? Because what we find is during our counseling sessions, when we ask a caller who comes to us on how their childhood has been, how their school days have been, and many of them say, oh, it was not good. I was bullied in school. Teachers humiliated me. Parents never understood. My older brother would always beat me. So when a child grows up in that environment, obviously his self-esteem is going to be low. So let's understand what are the reasons for low self-esteem and how does it affect you. One reason could be systematic punishment, neglect, or abuse, failing to meet parental standards, peer group standards, being on the receiving end of others' stress or distress, no presence of warmth, praise, affection, or interest. So all these are some of these could result in a person developing low self-esteem. And when a person has low self-esteem, how does it affect that person? How does it affect that person in their academics, in their relationship, in their work, in their parenting, in everything for them? They are diffident in expressing needs and opinions because from the childhood, they have been told that don't talk, what you say is useless, you have never contributed in a constructive way. So that person starts believing that, well, there is no point expressing because nobody even values what I say. They cannot form relationships. They cannot make decisions because they've always been told that whatever you have done is wrong. So that person during adulthood understands that, no, I don't think I can. I don't think I'm capable of, because I don't think I can take the correct decisions. They're unrealistic of expectations. They can also be overcritical because of what they have experienced. They cannot take stresses and setbacks. They are pretty pessimistic and develop disorders. So self-esteem typically happens during your growing up years. Now, how do we help someone build healthy self-esteem? One, listen with attention, respect that person, and help. And how do we use self-esteem? The one we have, which is healthy, we should listen, we should understand, we should empathize, we should be supportive, we should refer to other professionals when necessary. So one of the very common problems why some of you feel are introverts, or why some of you cannot take decisions, why some of you are scared about getting into a relationship, or why some of you are scared about giving your opinion is basically because you have had low, or you have been brought up in an environment which resulted in low self-esteem. It's like what I would do if I were a parent of a young boy is I would ask him a simple example. We go out for dinner, and rather than deciding for the child what the child should eat, I would ask the child, oh, why don't you look at the menu card and tell me, what would you like to eat? The child would look at the menu and he would say, you know what, I would like to have a pasta with French fries. As a parent, you can say, yeah, I think French fries are a little unhealthy. Could you try some other healthy option? The child would feel that, yes, his menu was accepted with a suggestion which is helpful. So child would look at it and say, yeah, let's try something which is not deep fried. And he would ask the dad or the mom, oh, why don't you suggest something according to my taste? So what does the child feel? A very simple thing like choosing what to eat is his choice, and nobody is forcing on him. Nobody is putting him down for choosing what he has decided to eat. So that tells the child, yeah, I can take decisions. So when it comes to my career, I will decide what I want to do. When it comes to my relationships, I will decide what I want as my life partner. When it comes to work, I will decide where I want to work, what I want to work in. Because when I take my own decisions, I am accountable because I have good emotional quotient. I'm not going to blame others. I feel respected. I feel valued, and so on. Now, this is what matters most is how you see yourself. It's all related to self-esteem. Now, let's say we had a offline presentation today, and I had to come to Avinash College. So I would put on the GPS, give my destination, give my start location, and the GPS would navigate me. I travel about half the distance and I receive a phone call. I'm talking to my friend and I'm supposed to take a right turn. The GPS is asking me to take a right turn. I don't listen to the instruction, go straight, and the GPS system basically reroutes it and gives me a new way to reach the destination. The GPS system never tells me, hey, Tapadia, I told you to take right and you went straight. Such a simple instruction you cannot follow. If you cannot follow this simple instruction, what will you do when life throws more complex challenges? I think you will be a failure and blah, blah, blah. All those negative things the GPS system would not tell me. However, when we make mistakes, when we are academically poor, you see the comments your parents make. I would say most of the parents make. They are not okay with a child getting low grades. They are not okay with a child getting a job which is not very high paying. There's a lot of comparison. And as a result of all that, the child starts believing what the adults say. He starts feeling that he is not good. And when people genuinely make a praise to the child for the talent the child has, the child does not accept that positively because his belief system is, I'm no good. If somebody is praising me, I think they're just making a mockery of me. That is what low self-esteem can do. So as adults, as teaching professionals, as we all have to ensure we are constantly developing a healthy self-esteem for people around us by not being very casual in what we say or mean something which could be hurtful. Stress is your body's reaction to a trigger, and it is generally a short-term experience. It is because of daily pressures, and anxiety is a specific reaction to a stress, which is internal. It is basically a feeling of fear, dread in situations which could actually not be threatening. Because of our anxiety, we start viewing every situation as a stressful or a situation which can lead to a lot of anxiety. And as a result of stress, our behavior changes. There are physical symptoms. We get headache, we get nausea. Our behavior is we have difficulty making decisions. We feel tired. We are not able to concentrate. We could also get into illness like anxiety, high BP, heart diseases, chronic fatigue, immune system disorders, and so on. Remember, the stressful situations are only short term. Either we cope with it or we let it go, and this too shall pass. When you remember that this too shall pass, you either solve that problem or you understand it is not solvable, you let it go and continue. How do you cope with stress or anxiety? Yoga, deep breathing, prayers, practice mindfulness, being compassionate to yourself, connect with friends, family, pets. They all help you de-stress, by the way. Maintain a gratitude journal. When we have negative thoughts, we keep complaining about things we don't have, what you're lacking, what you're missing, what others have. You compare with others and you say, you know what, My life is terrible. I don't have anything. Look at my friends. When you maintain a gratitude journal of things you have. It can be as simple as before you go to bed, write down 2 or 3 things which were good in your life today. Maybe a friend called you. Maybe teacher gave a word of praise. Maybe your parents felt very happy seeing you today. Write down, because in a stressful situation, when you go back to your gratitude journal, you will be very, very thankful for all the things you have in your life. So that attitude of complaining about what you don't have will gradually reduce, because you feel blessed with what you have. So other things which can help you cope with stress is exercise, play any sports you like, walk, run, develop hobbies. Hobbies are very good. It's like whenever you have a problem which is bothering you, don't keep thinking about it all the time. Put that problem aside. Do some other activity. Take up some hobby. Take up some activity which will help you de-stress. And after doing that, come back to that problem. Look at it with a fresh pair of mind, fresh pair of eyes. And believe me, most of the time, you'll have much better clarity on the problem you're trying to solve. That is why they say, take frequent breaks from what you're doing. Go to a movie, talk to friends. They all will help you de-stress. All these activities I'm talking about. And something more which is not mentioned here. Whatever you like, whatever helps you de-stress, keep having that as part of your daily activity. Now, another thing you need to also focus on is things only which are in your control. You can only manage what you can control. Like, how do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of the words you speak, the actions you have, the decisions you make? How do you handle your feelings? How much effort do you put in? Whether you follow rules or not? How do you treat others? These are all in your control. Okay, there are a lot of things which are not in your control. So don't worry about it. Don't overthink about it, because it is not helping you at all. I repeat, it is not helping you at all. What other people do, things from your past, other people's choices, what other people think, all of them are something you cannot control. But what happens in most of the situations we experience is, we want to do something, but then what stops us from doing something is we say, you know what, if I do something, what will my friends think? What will my family think? What will my teachers think? And we stop doing it. I would say,
Yes,
we need to look at only what we can control and not what is out of our control. Yeah, can you all be on mute, please? All on mute. Yeah. World Suicide Prevention Day is basically observed every year on 10th, established in 2003, organized by International Association for Suicide Prevention in collaboration with WHO. And the theme for the last 3 years, including 23, is creating hope through action. That is what is the theme for World Suicide Day, Prevention Day, World Suicide Prevention Day. Every suicidal death is a public health concern, which has a very profound impact on people around us. By raising awareness, reducing the stigma around suicide and mental health, and encouraging well-formed action, we can reduce instances of suicide around the world. Close to 8 lakh people commit suicide every year. This theme is a reminder that there is an alternative to suicide and aims to inspire confidence and light in all of us. I'm sure you would have read recently about Kota, where they train people for IIT and NEET. 23 suicides, which were, accounted for in 2023, which is a very large number. And a lot of those are because of academic pressure, parental expectation. long study hours, no time to de-stress, unsure about what happens in their future, worried that their parents have spent so much money by, incurring debts, and not sure if they will fulfill their dreams, their aspirations. So we need to give hope. Creating action. I'll just go back. Creating hope through action. What does the hope mean? The word hope means knowing that my life can and will feel better. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but not in the too distant near future. Hope means a little bit of optimism about my future. That's enough to get me through. Knowing that other people have experienced and survived similar suicidal thoughts and behaviors to me gives me hope that I can make it through my most suicidal times and that I may live a long life. Being able to talk freely about suicidal thoughts and suicide prevention is what provides me with the hope for the future. So these are some of the quotes related to hope. Yeah, some of these images may not be pleasant, but suicide is basically a cry for help. And if you look at all these images, there is a very intense feeling of sadness, anger, depression, loneliness, and so on. Now, there are a lot of factors which can result in a suicidal behavior. Some of it could be based on the biological factors. Some of it could be substance abuse like drugs, intense alcohol. It could also be because of some other precipitating factors or triggers like failure in an exam, financial problem, loss of a loved one, relationship breakup, and so on. So some of these factors which are precipitating factors are the triggers could be end of a relationship, death of a loved one, a lot of grief. So sometimes when you feel you've lost your companion of 50 years, you feel there's no one in my life. So what do I live for? What is the life's purpose? Arrest, guilt, shame, failure in exam, job loss, bullying. It could be poverty, financial problems, stock market loss. Any of those life triggers can help a person feel helpless, worthless, hopeless. And that is when the thought of ending someone's life or ending one's life or attempting suicide is triggered. Now, what are the major risk factors for suicide? One, self-harm or prior suicide. Someone who has attempted suicide and was not successful, there are more chances of that person attempting. Or misuse and abuse of alcohol or drugs. It could be some mental illness and they are not able to cope up, cannot live a normal life. They think they are a burden to the family. They are stigmatized by the society. It could be depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Or they have access to lethal means. In US, there's a free guns license you can get. And as a result of it, you pretty much know
Yes.
That if I have a gun and if I feel angry, I might shoot someone, or if I feel really low, suicidal, I might end up taking my life. But if that access to that weapon was not there, it will pass. Knowing someone who has died by suicide, especially in a close family or friends. Social isolation. A person who has been very
Yes.
socially connected suddenly loses interest in life, loses interest in their daily activities, doesn't feel like going to work, doesn't feel like going to school, doesn't feel like playing sports, doesn't feel like eating, just gets isolated. That is a factor you need to consider when somebody could have suicidal ideation. Chronic disease and disability. Because when they think they're not going to get well, there is disability which has made them immobile, non-functional. They start feeling like they're a burden to the family. And sometimes the financial pressure the family goes through treating these people could also put a lot of burden on such individuals who think, yeah, there's no point living. If I die, maybe the family doesn't have to spend more. They don't have to spend time taking care of me. And that is when that ideation could start. Or lack of access to proper healthcare. Or they're not aware that when they're going
Yes.
through is they're not aware that when they're going through low phases in their life, they can seek help. It is okay to seek help, but they are probably also very scared that if they seek help and go to a mental health professional, they may be stigmatized by their family or the society. One of the very disturbing facts, let me share with you. If I tell my family that I am feeling low or my behavior is not proper, they typically are in a denial mode. Nobody in our family ever was depressed. Nobody in our family had mental health issues. So it is just your perception and it may not be true. So they are in a denial because one, they fear the society or what the society may feel if they come to know that their child is having mental illness. Please avoid this. It's okay to not feel good. Seek help. Go to a psychiatrist. Talk to counselors. Seek medical help because when you seek medical help, things can only get better. Acceptance is the first thing, and that is what comes from the family. When the family accepts it, the caregivers, which is the family, are more empathetic towards what the person who is mentally disturbed is going through. They can be more understanding. And when the person feels they have a family which is very understanding, it helps them cope up better than what it would be if a family is in a denial. Now, you can feel very helpless. First, you don't know that there is a resource available where you can seek out to. You don't see too much hope. You find you're in real financial problems and there is no avenue for you to earn money. You feel you're not going to take care of your family because of your financial distress. You feel pretty hopeless. Then the feeling of worthlessness starts in. You feel unworthy of yourself. You feel you're not capable of doing anything. Then you start feeling that I'm not capable of doing anything. I'm in this mess, which is my financial mess. And that is when the thought of attempting suicide or ending the life crops in. So when you hear someone saying, you know what, I'm feeling terrible, I just don't feel like living, I don't know what to live for, I don't see a bright future looks very bleak, don't take their words lightly. You need to be very understanding of their life situation and what they're saying. and we will look at how it can be done. The warning signs people give, people who are having suicidal tendencies, they have a preoccupation with death, they might say, look, I just don't want to live. Life is not worth living. They might give you that clear message. They might write a suicide note so that people around them should not suffer because of them. They are obsessive. They have an obsession with suicidal material, guns, knives, hanging. They engage in high-risk behavior, self-harm, cutting wrist, take excessive drugs. They show a sudden uplifting of mood after a period of severe depression, dramatic mood swing. So sometimes what happens is you find somebody very depressed, and then you suddenly feel after a few weeks or months, he looks very normal and cheerful. Well, that is a warning sign, because sometimes people, when they are thinking about attempting suicide, are in a very confused state. But once they have made a decision, then there is a relief and they start behaving normally. And that is something you need to watch out for. Putting personal affairs in order. They make a will, they give back things which they owed to people, they clear whatever debts they have, they tell their family about their bank statements, all of that, because they feel that when they are no more, the family should not have to go through all the hassle of managing this. And they basically could take a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, and so on. So these are, again, some immediate direct signs which you need to watch out. Now, how do we prevent it? How do we do that? One, the society's attitude to mental health. I gave you an example of leg fractured versus feeling depressive. We need to reduce the stigma towards, we need to reduce the stigma of mental illness. We need to spread the word that mental illness is like any other physical illness. When treated, you can live a better life. Anyone can feel sick. Anyone can feel depressed. Anyone can feel anxious. So we need to understand it's okay. So there should be no stigma towards mental illness. You need to be connected. They need to have good problem-solving skills. We need to provide them with coping skills. We need to connect with caregivers. Caregivers could be a support system they trust in. Caregivers could be SEVA volunteers they can reach out to. Caregivers could be a group of people who have gone through the similar crisis and they can help each other. Some kind of a support group. Now, how do we handle a suicidal behavior? Oops, sorry. We need to listen with compassion, empathy, and be non-judgmental, such that we can restore hope and make them feel hopeful. You can sit with them, ask them how they are doing, and encourage them to tell their story. This small gesture goes a long way. Just for a moment, imagine you're all college students. One day, one of your friends who has been a very happy, cheerful person suddenly comes into the class and seems very low, shoulders drooping down, doesn't talk to anyone, sits in one corner, which is the last bench of the classroom. What most of us would do? We would ignore him because we are too preoccupied with our own life. But a person who is empathetic, who understands a lot of unspoken words, who is compassionate, will go sit on the bench beside him. After some time, just ask him, how is he feeling? Or tell him, you don't look all right. Is something troubling you? I am here to listen to you. Would you like to talk? That person who is going through that emotional crisis, when he understands that there is a very empathetic person, a genuine person who cares, he will say, you know what? Yeah, there are a lot of problems I'm currently facing. You can then continue the conversation by saying, would you like to talk now? Or you can talk later. I'm available. Just making yourself available goes a long way to someone who needs help, because that person understands that when I need help, I know whom to reach out to. So that is like a wonderful gesture which all of us as human beings can show to our fellow human beings, because at some point of time, we may be in a very vulnerable state, as such an empathetic ear, such an empathetic gesture will help us come through the crisis we are currently in. Now, how do we handle a suicidal behavior? Wait is a way to remember how we can support a person who is suicidal, who may be suicidal. W, watch. Watch for signs of distress and uncharacteristic behavior, the ones we discussed before. Ask, are you having a suicidal thought? There's a myth that if we ask someone, do you have a suicidal thought? We are basically planting that idea. No. Asking a suicidal thought does not encourage it, nor does it lead a person to start thinking about it. But when you ask a suicidal thought, you need to ask with a lot of compassion and empathy. There are a lot of ways in which you can ask. You can start with, oh, are you feeling hopeless? Do you feel worthless? Are you feeling life is not worth living? Things like that. Or you can also ask directly, depending on how you handle it. Then the I is, it will pass. Assure your loved ones that seeking help will give them hope. Their suicidal feelings will pass with time. Hope. Talk to others. T is talk to others. Encourage them to seek help from a health professional or a counselor. Tell them there is help available. Give them the guidance on how they can reach out to. So this person can talk to the required health professional or the counselor and get the required help. It is okay to ask. I repeat, it is okay to ask. How you ask is important. And what you need to also do is you need to give them an assurance. Like, oh, this is a passing phase, temporary, bound to pass. Have faith in yourself. You need to talk about it. Give them the assurance that you're there. You need to talk about it. I'm available. Let's work on this together to come out of it. I will definitely help you. Or give them the assurance that you have the strength to come out of this. But right now, you're not in a position to realize, because you're very, very disturbed because of your emotional turmoil. You're not able to think rationally, but I can assure you that you have the strength. You can go through this. So this is where or how we handle a suicidal behavior. Couple of things you should not be doing, please. Never argue. Never disown their feelings. Don't ever tell them, how can you feel suicidal? You have everything in life. No, never. Give unconditional acceptance. Total empathy. Understand what they are going through. And if you think this is something you cannot, consult your team, seek help, and share this help resource which is available with the caller. So one, never argue. Accept them unconditionally, empathetically, and help in whatever way you can. It is never enough to stop from them attempting suicide, what is also important is you have to give them meaning in life by giving them hope, by making them feel they're worthy, by making them have a purpose. So a lot of people think they have no purpose in life. So why live a life? Give them that purpose for living. Tell them how they can be of help to an NGO based on their experience. Tell them or show them a way in which their life can be more worthy. They have been in the field of education, so give them some hope, saying, or make them feel worthy. You know what? You can go and teach these government school teachers where they lack good education in 1 or 2 subjects based on their skills. So you have to show them avenues and improve their self-worth, give them a purpose, and show them future. It's worth living. Now, support system. Suicides are all preventable. Community awareness and breaking down the taboo is important to make progress in suicide prevention. Communities play an important role in suicide prevention. They can provide social support to vulnerable people and engage in follow-up care, fight the stigma, and support those bereaved by suicide. A person who has committed suicide is a lot of trauma for their friends and family and their extended family. So it is also important we provide the much needed support so that they do not become vulnerable and attempt suicide. If you know someone who may be considering suicide, please talk to them. Listen with an open mind and offer support in whatever way you can.
Hello, sir. I'm here to raise a question.
Can I take that after I finish, please? We have a question answer session. Thank you.
Yeah, done. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Support system could be family, friends, schools, colleges, community members, workplace, workers, religious discourses, healthcare professionals, voluntary organizations like SEVA, Roshni, Active Minds. There are a lot of online support available, those, Mindshift, and so on. One of the very important things we can do is family and friends and schools and college, because that is where a person spends most of the time. Either he is at work or studying or at home or with friends. Okay, so that is where. And then obviously the community comes in picture, but very, very important that we are sensitized to identifying such change in behavior, identifying triggers which may have happened in their life, so that we are able to admit and acknowledge them. Now, some quotes I will share. The greatest glory is in living life. The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fail. When you feel like giving up, just remember the reason why you held on for so long. Your life is worth living, and it is worth fighting for. You don't have to be positive all the time. It is perfectly okay to feel sad, angry, annoyed, frustrated, scared, or anxious. However, feelings doesn't make you a negative person. It makes you human. Having feelings doesn't make you a negative person. We are all human. We all have feelings. Your life matters, giving them that hope. Your feelings matter. Your voice matters. You matter. And normally, suicide is a cry for help, and they think even if they end their life, nobody is going to be affected. It doesn't matter anyone if you live or don't live. When you give them that feeling that you matter, you mean, we value you, we care for you, you mean a lot to us, it is important. The darkest hour has only 60 minutes. You're not alone, and people do care about you. Please reach out if you're struggling. Okay. Now you can reach out to me on this personal number. You can reach out to me on this personal number. And this is our SEVA website along with the SEVA numbers. So I'm available on WhatsApp. And this is our website. Please go through. There are a lot of talks. There are a lot of interesting stuff available on our website. SEVA is a free and confidential counseling center. And we have 2 centers, one at Padmarao Nagar and one at the Heel Center, Panjagutta. So anytime you or someone you think needs any kind of emotional support, they can always feel free to reach out to us. We would ensure total confidentiality. It doesn't cost them anything. And we are there for you. We are there to listen to you. Thank you very much. And now I would leave this session for question answers. I would open the session for question answers. 1 minute. I would have my video back. By the way, this presentation they can share with you. Yeah. Now let's go through question answers. Hi, Krishna Kumari. Good to see you. Yeah. Yes. Somebody had a question.
Hello, sir. This is
Yes, sir. I can't hear you. Can you continue? Surya Dikshit.
Yeah. So my question is that if we got to know that a person is committed suicide, so what's the prevention that we can do and stop the suicide as a friends or a family? What we need to do?
Has the person committed suicide, or is he planning to commit suicide?
He's fixed a certain time to commit a suicide.
You know about it?
Yeah. If we got to know about it, what we need to do?
The first thing you need to do is find out who is around that area. Let's for a moment, you come to know the person has decided to commit suicide by hanging himself, right? Or herself. So you need to inform their immediate family or wherever it is. If he is in a hostel, inform the warden. If he is at a workplace, staying in a paying guest house, inform people around them immediately. Sensitize them the urgency of why you're telling them, so that they can reach out as soon as possible. Are you with me, sir?
Okay.
Yeah, you need to immediately. Don't post it on WhatsApp and all of that. No, first call people, inform them ASAP so that some action can be taken.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah. Other questions? Anybody has any questions?
So
yeah,
I too have a few questions. Another question.
Yeah.
If we have informed the police at that time, some people think that it will get on us only. They will arrest us. They'll inquire us. So what we need to do at that time, sir? What you recommend to do at that time?
See, why would you want to inform the police immediately? Family is important, right? So let's say, I'll just give you a simple example.
Yes.
I am attempting suicide. My family comes to know and they prevent it, right?
Yes.
And then they counsel me, they understand what I'm going through, they're very empathetic, and I have an excellent support system. So this remains pretty much within the family. But if you make it more public, people will start judging you. People will start judging you that you are mentally weak. People will start judging the family. And the police, if you tell them for an incident which has not happened, there might be unnecessary other problems, right?
Yes.
Right. So basically, try to resolve it within, because sometimes not every suicidal attempt is successful, right? They get saved. Or maybe last minute they may decide, no, I don't want to. So the more you publish about this, the more that person who has attempted will feel miserable, because he will feel more people are judging him.
Yes.
Yeah. So you need to keep it in close quarters. But at the same time, let people know so that they can reach out. See, when that is a suicide attempt which is successful, anyway, the police would be knowing about it. There'll be post-mortem. So all those legal aspects have to be done. But then the more important thing after that is the family, friends go through a lot of emotional trauma. They will feel guilty of why they couldn't identify. They feel helpless on why they could not prevent it. They can go through a lot of emotions, and that is where they all need to be seeking help. Sometimes the family says, "Arey, I was not even aware that he was going through so much stress. He never showed any signs." Maybe he showed signs, you never understood it. Maybe he told you a lot of indirect ways of doing things. He told you a lot of things indirectly, you never understood it. Are you getting what I'm saying? So they go through a lot of guilt. Sometimes it could be shame, sometimes it could be anger on themselves for not helping someone. So they go through a lot of emotional turmoil. Surya Dikshit, does it help you?
Yes, sir. I understood.
Yeah. Other questions, please. Other questions. I encourage. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So like apart from, talking to the suicidal person or encouraging them to go for counseling or therapy, what else can we do to prevent this, sir?
You have to give them hope. You have to make them feel worthy. You need to give them a purpose in life.
Yes, sir.
And if they're going through some kind of financial stress, let's say, you need to give them options on how they can reduce that burden. Maybe take some loan from immediate family and repay this. There are a lot of those money lenders who are after you. They charge high rate of interest. So what you can do is repay them by taking it from some other source, which is not putting too much pressure on you. You hear people who commit suicide is also because there are money lenders who send agents to your home. They shame you and they charge very high interest. In that situation, you can also provide some other kind of financial support as a family to reduce their burden, to reduce the stress. But more importantly, you need to give them hope for the future. You need to give them a purpose. You also need to understand that we value them. They are very worthy and we really care for them. That feeling should go in them. Yes. Dhanvi, are you okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Others? Any other questions?
I actually have another question.
Yeah.
So like the society that we're living in right now, everybody is like, they're either very judgmental or they're like, it's not even a thing when it comes to mental health or any suicidal stuff. So what do you think are some things that we can bring insights for them or like bring awareness on this, sir? Because whenever I talk to my friends about anything, like, this might be affecting me or something like this, they just take it as a joke or just make fun of it. Everybody or anybody even talking about it. So what do you think are some steps that anybody could follow?
Yeah, see, one of them is if I express fears, people will judge me. If I say I'm feeling depressed, they will judge me. So many of us don't express because we feel the other people are judgmental, right? So we start expressing our negative emotions. When you have a society which is non-judgmental, which values mental health, then people will be more open about it. Very proudly you go in a family function and say, look, I have a thyroid problem, I have diabetes, I have BP. So people understand. Mental health, you can't see. So people cannot relate. So we have to basically spread awareness of mental illness and help them understand that it's okay to not be fine all the time. And we have to spread awareness so that the stigma on mental illness is reduced. So you need to continue doing what you're doing that week. Don't worry about whether people understand or not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are doing your job. And I'm sure if you start giving talks on mental illness, out of 100, maybe 2 may understand. And those 2 may spread the word. Like today, we had more than 100 people. And I'm sure not everybody would be interested in this topic. Some may have joined because the college wanted them to join. But somewhere behind everybody who has attended today, there is this concept which may have got registered directly, indirectly. So when they know, yeah, there is an organization like SEVA. Yeah, I'll look at my notes and they can, they'll at least have something. So we keep doing these talks just to spread awareness of mental health. Even if one person benefits from today's lecture, I'm happy. It's worth my time. Even if it doesn't, I'm happy because I'm doing my bit to spread awareness. So think about it. Don't worry about it. You cannot, like I said, what are the things in your control? Spread awareness. What are the things not in your control? Whether people take it or they don't take it. If they don't take it, that's fine. I'm okay. At least I'm doing my bit. Continue doing your good job, Selvi. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you very much. It was really good having you today. It was really amazing hearing you out. It was very helpful. I loved the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Others, please.
So I want to give you a feedback that
Yeah.
your session is helpful to a lot of people, and you made us a day to prevent a suicide, how to prevent a suicide, what are the way to prevent suicide, or how the people commit suicide. All everything what you have done presented is amazing and helpful to everyone. Thank you so much for organizing this wonderful event with Avinash College of Commerce. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate, sir. Good words like this keeps us motivated and we understand we are in the right direction. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. It has been an honor to be part of this wonderful session, sir. It is very enlightening and very informative. We got to know so many things like what are the things, the feelings, behaviors that will be affecting and making the people to take a decision to go for a suicide, and what are the things that we can do to prevent them also. You have discussed several factors like risk factors, stress and suicidal behaviors, and also how to give hope to such people and how to make them feel that they are worthy, and also several preventive factors, also do's and don'ts we have discussed, sir. The session is very informative, and you were also answering the questions that are asked by all of our audience and participants very patiently. We are so happy to have your session, sir. And I request our principal, ma'am, for proposing vote of thanks, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you for your kind words. Thank you
so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Saraswati, ma'am. Dear respected Rajendra Tapadia Sir, I take this wonderful opportunity to thank you for the very enriching session. The session has been truly insightful, sir. Thank you so much for taking out your time and addressing the students and staff of Avinash Group of Institutions today. Effective mental health care, easy access to a variety of clinical interventions, feelings of strong connections to individuals, family, community, and social institutions, a very strong sense of cultural identity, problem solving, and conflict resolution skills. All of these components and ideas were so beautifully, wonderfully brought out by you, sir, in your session. Your session has been truly helpful as it advocates a comprehensive public health approach to suicide prevention, identifying several strategies that states and communities like ours can undertake, including such measures as teaching, coping up, and problem-solving skills to help people manage such challenges, expanding options for temporary assistance for those in need, and connecting people at risk to effective and coordinated mental and physical health care. Sir, truly, such sessions are the need of the hour, sir. On behalf of Avinash Group of Institutions, I would like to express my grateful thanks to you, sir, for the wonderful session, and my profound gratitude to our revered chairman, sir, Dr. Avinash Brahmadevara, sir, and Dean Academics, Avinash Group of Institutions, Dr. Sushila Kanduri, ma'am, whose perennial support and handholding help us progress wonderfully well with sessions such as this. Thank you so much, participants, for your active participation. I thank all my colleagues and dear students as well. Once again, thank you, Mr. Rajendra Tapadia, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Yeah, thank you very much. And all of you have a wonderful life ahead. Please reach out to me anytime any of you feel. Reach out to SEVA group of volunteers, we'll be more than happy. And God bless you all. Bye-bye.
So,
Yes.
before we end this session, can I ask you something?
Sure.
How can we like stay away from negativity when we have a lot of negativity around us? How can we how can we like distract ourselves?
Give me one example which things you cannot distract. Then I'll elaborate more. Any specific example you want to share?
There are a lot of things running in my head, like a lot. Like daytime I'll be normal, but at the night time when I have nothing to do, I'll just overthink about the things. Basically, it's about the career or whatever. It's running in my head like whatever I am doing, is that correct? It's not about only the studies, the people around me, the negative environment, the judgmental people around me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, Sania, what you need to understand is who are your well-wishers? Who are the people who matter to you? There are a lot of people who will keep judging you. There are a lot of people who will advise you. You need to see, is there any meaning in what they are telling? If there is, yeah, look at it positively. Treat it like a constructive criticism at times. And if you see something meaningful, accept it, otherwise ignore. I showed you a slide about what you can control, what you cannot control. So one of the things you need to understand is I cannot control what people think of me. I cannot control, I repeat, I cannot control when people judge me. I cannot control what they say behind my back. I cannot control any of what they do to me, right? Can you? No.
No, sir.
No. However, what I can control is how do I respond to it if I have to. I don't even have to react to it. Am I being rude? I can control. Am I judging people? I can control. Am I being nasty to people in my words and actions? I can control. You know, it is not a helpful behavior. You need to work on it. So you can only work towards yourself on how you can improve. If people compare you with others, that's okay. That's their problem. Parents do that all the time. But what you can do is compare yourself over a period of time. Maybe I want to take part in a running event. My time is 3 minutes today. I can become better, improve my speed, and make it 2 minutes 50 seconds. Maybe further improve and 2 minutes 40 seconds. So comparing with yourself and I repeat, comparing with yourself and improving on is what is in your control, but what others feel, think, judge is not in your control. So don't pay too much attention. I know it depends on the age you are in. Sometimes there is that peer pressure on how you dress, how you talk, how you walk. It's okay. They will always judge you for everything. You walk properly, they judge you. You don't walk properly, they'll judge you. There will always be two schools of thought every time. So just see what is helpful, what is not helpful. Again, before you go to bed, you said you keep thinking about your career. Yeah, sometimes thinking about career is good because it also helps you plan. But worrying about your career, worrying about your future is not helpful. A helpful behavior would be, yeah, I will think. Let me see, I need to go to US. What do I need to do? I need to prepare. I need to get my SOPs. I need to get my LORs. So all that thinking will help you plan better rather than rushing at the end. But worrying about what if I get an admission in US, is getting the visa in your control? No. You may not get a visa after all your effort. Your dreams may not be fulfilled. You cannot do much. Maybe you can reapply. Yeah.
So the thing is that we can plan, but in life, nothing goes according to our plan. That's the thing.
No, I would totally agree that nothing goes according to a plan. Things go according to a plan. It's just that sometimes things don't work out. Let's say you want to, I'll just give you an example. You want to go to US. You have to plan, you have to identify schools, shortlist them, send them your LOR, send them your SOP, send them your marks. After that, admission process happens. They send your I-94. Then you apply for visa date. You get an appointment. You apply for visa. You get it. There's a possibility you may not get. So does it mean that planning was useless?
No, sir.
No, absolutely no. If you had not planned, you wouldn't even have applied. If you had not applied, there's no question of I-94. Then where's the question of even going? It's just that some things are beyond our control. That is why we say, hey, all my efforts went down the drain. So we start making a judgment saying, hey, why even make effort? Let's see when it comes, let's do it. No, it doesn't. Absolutely no. Putting effort gives you that hope that you will achieve it. Not putting effort gets you nowhere. When you put effort, you are at A, you move to B. When you don't put effort, you will always remain at A. So effort always helps. Maybe you don't see the benefits of it immediately, but you might see it later. Definitely. Everything it does. Only thing is we don't appreciate right away.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Even if you want to take part in a marathon, you have to be physically fit, which means you have to run every day. You have to do yoga. You have to be very mindful. Only then you can run that race, right? And when you run that race, you may be the fourth person. You may not get a gold, silver, or a bronze, but you're fourth. That fourth position gives you hope that if I do a little more better, I might get third or second or first. But if I don't put effort, I may not even qualify to even run that final race. So every time there is an effort, we just don't get the fruits immediately, but fruits will always show up in life. Always. Being nice to people, people may not appreciate, but you feel good because you are nice. You feel happy. Yeah. Yeah, the reward may not be immediate. That is why you think your efforts are not paying you. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else has any questions? Otherwise, we can wrap it up. Thank you, Saraswati Madam, Mala Madam, Chairman Sir, Shushila, once again. And I look for such opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much, sir. Thank
Hello,
Thank you.
being SEVA, can I add something?
Yeah, we have a SEVA volunteer, Krishna, here.
No, I feel the society also has to be a little more sensitive. We need to, being volunteers and organizations, we need to sensitize the society to be, like whatever you listed. You have beautifully done your job, Raj, and accolades to you for doing this. But, and also, like you see, being a punishable offense, suicide being a punishable offense is really, it makes it a taboo by itself, I feel. I no, I'm open to suggestions and clarifications. But, but the minute the police is involved, the family is put to so much. I mean, you did elaborate NGOs like this. We need to make the society a little more, more empathetic, more understanding, and not so much competition. I mean, of course, that's not possible, I know. I mean, this is my little bit.
Yeah. What I feel is there is so much focus in our society on IQ, high grades,
EQ
good admissions.
is not so much. Yeah.
What we need to really focus on is emotional quotient. Last week, I gave talk in 4 colleges on a topic which was coping with college life, the role of emotional intelligence, emotional quotient. And that I feel is lacking in our educational system. We need to ensure people have more emotional quotient. IQ they are born with, but emotional quotient can be built. So that's something. Yeah. And that's a foot for the next talk, the role of emotional quotient. Avinash Group, I would be happy to give a talk whenever you find the need. Yeah. Thank you so much. And all of you, I appreciate coming on a Sunday, sacrificing your family time, but I hope it was worth it. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.